Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. In this video, we actually have some pretty crazy news going on over here. We're now seeing some PlayStation 5 developers and really big games such as Final Fantasy 16 now being super worried about now actually the potential sales, the longevity of the game, if it's gonna even sell good. And as well, we also have some pretty big news when it comes to Stardew Valley, some Final Fantasy 7 news, and a lot of other really cool news as well, and also some really big random PlayStation bugs and glitches that once again are still happening, especially after this weird Diablo vibe. So we're gonna talk about quite a few different things throughout this video, so if you guys will sit back, relax, and enjoy. And as well, thank you guys for even watching the video itself. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. If you guys are bored, swing by the Twitch stream. We'll be going live pretty soon, just getting to play some drinks or chilling. So if you guys are bored, stop over there. We have the Amazon links, the Twitter links down below, and everything else down below too. And of course, give me your thoughts and comments, and let's dive into the video. So first and foremost, I'm sure you guys know that Final Fantasy 16 is one of the most anticipated games, at least for my own self, but as well for probably a lot of you guys watching. Final Fantasy 16 obviously comes off the big hype of all the other Final Fantasies, and obviously 14 still pretty relevant. We have all these random side games. We also have Final Fantasy 15 a few years back. Some people have been waiting for a new Final Fantasy game. Blah, blah, blah. You guys all know. Final Fantasy 7 great. Final Fantasy 16's looking fantastic. State of plays. But they're actually really worried right now. So right now, we're actually seeing a really big news when it comes to the Final Fantasy news, where apparently the pre-orders for the game itself are even as low as Final Fantasy 15's. And that's kind of an intriguing thing to know, because Final Fantasy 15 was actually kind of a mediocre, I don't want to say mediocre game itself. I enjoyed it, I beat it, I liked it, I watched the anime and everything with it, but a lot of folks in the general gaming community really weren't the most appeased with it. Although pre-orders doesn't necessarily change the end result, because a lot of folks are obviously waiting for Final Fantasy 15 for a while, but this apparently is making Square Enix executives and higher-ups being a little bit more on the scared side. So Square Enix apparently isn't happy with Final Fantasy 16's pre-orders. So Final Fantasy 16 is almost guaranteed to be a hit when it launches on June 22nd. I'm going to buy it myself. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys do as well. But right now, it might not be reaching the heights of its predecessor. This is according to a report on the behind the scenes at Square Enix, which says the company is panicking over Final Fantasy 16's pre-order figures. And obviously, this game has put a lot, everything. There's a lot of attention, a lot of marketing, state of plays, and obviously years upon years, we've been hearing that Yoshi P also even had extra additional funding for the game itself, which they've also upped. You have to make that money back if you're trying to be like, hey, we can make a god to your game if you give me an extra $100 million an extra year. Well, guess what? You still have to go and justify it and, well, make that money back. So according to journalist Imran Khan, Final Fantasy 16's pre-orders are tracking behind Final Fantasy 15's, even though adjusting for the fact that 16 is a PlayStation 5 exclusive. Khan continues to say that this has Square Enix is slightly panicking, suggesting that the game's promotional period has not gone as planned, even with the positive reception to early gameplay demos. Khan mentions that apparent concerns within Square Enix in relation to the company's recent announcement that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is still in development and aiming for its winter release window, which I would still love that. Khan speculates that this reminder came in response to 16's apparent poor pre-order figures, suggesting that the company believes it didn't do enough to encourage fans to purchase the game early. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys would probably agree. The bigger thing that matters is how good the game actually sells. Pre-orders are really good, preemptive measures to go and judge, but right this second, it doesn't seem like it's going to be bad. I think a lot of folks are hyped up for it. A lot of my Twitch streamer friends are hyped up for it. People in the YouTube comments and Twitter, etc., are hyped up for it. But I also feel like after a while, it's like the 16th game. If you kind of go and see, let's say, God of War for the duology, a lot more folks are pretty much more hyped up for that, because obviously it's a new system, blah, blah, blah. I know they have old prior games, or same thing with Spider-Man 2 as well. They have old prior games, but right now they're basically at number 2, so they're excited. Right now we're on 15, or 16, and of course, we also have all the other various Final Fantasy stuff, like the chibi games, we have the spin-off games, we have 15 that was still pretty relevant, we also have Final Fantasy 14, so it kind of seems like the world is still there, or even Forspoken in that same Square Enix style, so it's still there. So the pre-orders and the hypes, I almost also feel like a lot of folks are just expecting the game to be good nonetheless. We don't really have to pre-order the game, because, well, duh, it's just going to be a Final Fantasy 16 game. I think the game's going to be great, but once again, I'm not going to pre-order it. I'll wait maybe 1 or 2 days to see how good the game is, and if it's good, I'll play it, obviously, but if not, well, then that's fine with me. I don't know, I think, it's kind of weird that they're freaking out so poorly on these poor receptions and pre-orders, because, yeah, that's a good, I guess, thing to notice, but it's not really a big deal. It's more about how good the game actually sells. So It's also kind of why they're trying to push this Final Fantasy 7 a little bit more, which we've been still seeing even more on this one. Same question, how will players journey through the world outside of Midgar in Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth? Players will be able to journey across the wide and multifaceted world with a high degree of freedom, experiencing a myriad of different stories along the way. And like, it's cool, like we're seeing like this preemptive hype and we're getting people talk about it. So there probably was some big marketing decision being like, hey, we need to go and hype up these games. We need to go talk about these games and make them seem even cooler too as well. On top of that, so basically a lot of folks are saying that it's not going to be like a bad selling game, which I could agree on, but with every AAA game nowadays, getting some money in the bank before launch is always promising, especially with how much this games usually cost. So it shows how much interest the publisher can expect at launch, helping them prepare physical copies. This is why so many games try so hard to encourage pre-order offerings and a bunch of different packs and et cetera, which is nice, but it's kind of crazy to see that people are so worried. Now, there also has been a little bit of drama too as well, because some folks might be expecting... I don't know, like, I don't know, people are kind of debating on the Xbox versus PC launches too, and if that it will play like a big factor in it, which it might, but at the same time, like, I'm sure there's some sort of money or some sort of like marketing promotion tied in, or a timed exclusivity over time where it may come out to Xbox. But as well, some folks are also wondering if there's also bigger issues with like cost of living crises, with wages not necessarily really rising, so people are still more expecting more issues. But I don't think that really matters too much. I mean, obviously it matters in the grand scheme of things, but for gaming, like, I'm still seeing people buying a bajillion copies of Diablo. I'm still seeing people check out other games. So I think if the game is good and people are hyped up for it, it doesn't really matter. They'll still buy it either way. I mean, maybe in the general overall gaming sphere, yes, but for the individual games, if the game's really good, I still think people are going to be playing it. So I don't know, the article kind of talks about how that has, like, people have like less money for luxuries, which I totally get and understand, but at the same time too as well, it might just kind of come down to pre-ordering, and whenever the game is good, more people will be buying it in the first place. So I think the game's going to be pretty good. I think it's pretty much a guaranteed lock. And at the same time, I don't think it's going to be a big struggle compared to, say, like a Redfall or any other various big game that's been mediocre. But we'll still have to go and see. But right now, there's also no other big game kind of competing with it, too, as well. So I just feel like it'll be okay. Like, I don't know. But people are definitely worried about this. I don't think they should, at least on my opinion. But we also apparently have not been seeing a lot of folks still bringing up the demo on the Final Fantasy 16. I'm excited for the demo, too. But we do keep on seeing that folks have been pulling out the, basically out of the demo. They're finding it on Reddit, small updates that may not be fully entitled on. I don't know why I'm randomly white now, but whatever, what can you do? I have no idea how to ever fix this. It's so weird. I'm like, keep on trying. Like, I look so normal here, and then it's like, God only knows. Anyway, so we're kind of seeing more folks excited for all of that, too, as well. We've also been seeing some kind of cool news coming out from Stardew. Now, Stardew is always the game that does keep on giving, where it allows players to upgrade their tools now through random different methods. The highest tier for every tool now being the rare purple mineral iridium, which is very nice to see. That is every tool except for one. The scythe only has a standard and gold variant and can't be upgraded though. However, apparently they can now go and still get their nice little update. So it's kind of cool to see how many people are hyped up still for Stardew Valley, how big the Stardew Valley fan base even is in the first place. And at the end of the day, I don't know, it's kind of cool. Like, I just feel like this guy always gave so much nice credit for everyone, and it was just good. Like, I just think it's a good game at the end of the day. Now, to kind of also wind on the video too, is some people are actually once again having issues with Street Fighter 6. I want to check this game out myself. I want to play it, but one of the bigger issues with this one is that we saw issues on Diablo 2 as well on the PlayStation these past few days. So now it almost kind of seems like we're seeing a lot of these random PlayStation issues overall, where Street Fighter 6 players are struggling to access their Deluxe and Ultimate Edition extras on PS5, and some folks are even struggling to even play the game. Now, this also kind of had a lot of issues too. I should just turn off the webcam for this one. But a lot of people had issues too, same with the Diablo. I think just PlayStation servers were having some pretty rough issues all around, which is not fun to see. No one ever wants to deal with that. No one ever wants to bother with that. You know, you want to, if you spend extra money on the deluxe editions or get your games, you want to enjoy the game. Like, don't get me wrong. But it seems like that's just a big issue nonetheless. So I don't know why. There is some workarounds too, where some people are saying just either re-download the game, relaunch, and like re-sign on in, download any actual free-to-play game that happened for Diablo. So basically just like download a Fortnite, or try to just go and download a microtransaction, or any of that type of stuff to resync up your PlayStation Store to make all this stuff work. It's kind of just annoying. This keeps on having issues though. You guys can also see the actual step-by-step instructions over here too when it comes to the game libraries and basically resetting the actual account itself. But it's just so weird to see that PlayStation's been having having so many on-off issues, as well as everyone being so scared and afraid about the Final Fantasy 16 drama as well. So let me know your thoughts. Like, I kind of feel like Final Fantasy 16 is going to be fun either way. I think all these random PlayStation Network issues will be solved pretty soon, like, I'm sure some higher-ups are already talking about it, and yelling at some folks already. And of course, as well, I still cannot wait for some Final Fantasy 7. That is going to be some good stuff. So here's a report stream by the Twitch stream. We'll be live pretty soon. We have the Twitter as well down below. Thanks you guys check out the Amazon link for all the nice little consoles, and leave a like, your thoughts and comments, and all that good stuff. And I just appreciate you guys all so much for watching here in the first place.